Hey everybody, welcome to part 5 in this 5-part series. So this is the final part in an exploration on why video games are going to be one of the keys to the global awakening that's happening right now. The first was that video games are already a hack to identity. The second is that we are what we practice and video games are a space to practice. The third is about how all of these powerful technologies for conscious technologies for shaping a person's state of being, virtual reality, augmented reality, biosensors, all of that are converging around gaming already. Part 4 was about scalability. And now we get into fun. This is like the key. This is it. This is why gaming is so goddamn effective. Like, I think that a lot of technologies, especially in healing and wellness, like take themselves super seriously. And why wouldn't they? You know, it's like, it seems to be really important, and we all want to avoid suffering, and that has a quality of seriousness to it. But the problem with seriousness, don't even get me started on serious games. But the problem of seriousness is, oh boy, yeah. The problem with seriousness is it actually closes us off. Imagine you're a kid and your dad sits you down and says, we have to have a serious conversation. Already all your walls are going up. Or if you're sick, then you go to the doctor, your walls are going up. They're just up because you feel protective and vulnerable and not vulnerable in the good way. You just like there's a sense of distrust that's there. As soon as you're approaching any technology where they're like, hey, I need you to fix me, then your walls are coming up and you're relating to it in this very like contracted way. Gaming is and has always been about fun. And when you approach something with that expectation that this is going to be fun, you approach it with an open heart. When you approach it with an open heart, you can be more deeply changed by it. And I think that's something that is really important for people to be thinking about, not only in gaming and entertainment, but anywhere. You know, anybody inventing a technology for somebody's well-being, if it's not fun, people aren't going to take it up, really. And if they do take it up, your impact on them is going to be compromised. If we entice a person's inner child, we get the best and most curious out of them. But if we collude with their inner parent, we're really only strengthening the ego, which is not always a bad thing, but it's just not the most powerful way to go about helping someone change their lives. So that is why fun matters a lot. And before I wrap up this 5-part series, I just want to say a thing about optimism, because in the transformative technology space and just in the just kind of pulling on the I guess the flavor or the temperature of the room right now, the West, in America in particular, there's a real quality of pessimism going around, and I'm going to make a bold statement here, and I think for those of us who really want to make an impact on the world and engage in the world, you don't get to not be an optimist. You have to be an optimist. If you want to impact the world, you have to be an optimist. If you're a pessimist, you're going to get stuck every stop of the way. The reason you have to be an optimist is because if you're an optimist, you can recognize that every problem, however big, however daunting, every single problem contains within it the seed for its resolution. But you can't hear it unless you already love it. You know, if you approach the problem with love and compassion, you can hear what it's asking for, and you can hear the resolution inside of it. And if you approach it with like a kind of combativeness, you invite those walls to come up further, which reifies the problem. And while that whole process of like loving and listening to a problem is and finding the seed in it is, you know, necessary and really beautiful, and I think necessary to practice and takes optimism to practice, another part of it is is about the willingness to look lovingly into a problem, because you're a lot more likely to be willing to take the time and patience to look closely and listen closely to the problem if you already think it's beautiful. And if you don't think it's beautiful, then you risk making it worse. And so that's my case on why optimism is so necessary. And I understand it can be really hard for people to be optimistic when it looks like the world's on fire. But that's all the more reason for why we need to practice optimism, because otherwise we can't actually motivate our energies to willfully and collaboratively and creatively doing our work, doing the work that we're here to do. All right. Thank you all for listening to this 5-part series on video games and global awakening. I know I can get a little woo-woo sometimes, but so what? And if you have any comments or thoughts, please drop them in the comments box. I'll do my best to address those comments in the next video. And I'll see you next week. Bye.